It's Friday night, I want a chippy tea. Chippy tea, chippy tea, I want a chippy tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to Chippy Tea Podcast in its second incarnation. And this episode, we've got Carl Bradford from Envision. So, how are we doing, Carl?
I'm good, Tony. How are you doing?
Always good. You know my motto, always good.
That's it.
I'm sure it's getting annoying to some people now, but I actually am always good. This week I was working in Brid with Danny. And on the Tuesday, I walked in and everybody said, "Hey, how are you?" And I went, "Yeah." And they went, "What?"
Ooh, something's wrong.
What's wrong with Tony? I said, "No, actually, I'm all right. You know, I forgot. I forgot. You know, it's important how you speak to yourself. You know, that voice is loud." And so Definitely. I just had a quiet word with myself and cheered myself up. So, welcome to Chippy Tea.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go with, who's Carl Bradford? What's Envision? What do you do? Tell us about your story.
So, I'm Carl Bradford, 31, 6'1". I'm not going to give my weight. I'm the director of Envision Group. We're based in Leicester. We are a full service design, manufacturing, fulfillment company that help brands, creators, businesses produce fashion garments and accessories, essentially.
Okay, because we met, I bet it's nearly 10 years ago.
Probably, yeah.
I think it was, so probably 2016, about 10 years ago, when you were just getting into screen printing and you bought a full kit of a Vastex manual screen printer, little dryer, the whole shebang, really, yeah?
Yeah, so we went, we decided to start off with manual screen printing at the time, which was really good fun. And at the time as well, I didn't have the staff, so it was me doing it as well as my business partner, Joe. But we ended up stopping doing screen printing because lots of factors, but the main one is from a manual standpoint, it's a slog. It's an absolute slog.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? It sounds pretty. I tell you what, we'll just get a little setup. We'll print our own stuff. It'll be really simple, but the harsh reality of making screens, mixing colours, lining up jobs, fighting water-based, all these things put together, as well as because you thought, well, I presume we just think, oh, I'll just print a couple of T-shirts. It'll only be an hour.
Yeah. Definitely not.
2 days later, you're still trying to stick bits of tape over holes in your screen.
Yeah, it's one of them as well. I think you were with us for a week, and a week's not like we could have done with you being there for a month. Do you know what I mean? Because you question.
It was a steep learning curve to walk in from zero to right. I've got a little screen print setup in a box, really. What do I do now, Tony? It's like, Jesus, right, okay, well, we need to learn about mesh, we need to learn about some blades, we need to, and it's, and then you need to keep buying stuff, obviously, because that's the hard bit as well. So you've just spent all that money. Well, I'm going to get you to spend some more.
Yeah, it's not cheap, is it? It's not a cheap endeavor.
It sounds it, but it's the accessories that the bits that you don't think about, all the bits that you think are consumable and non-consumable.
I mean, that's something you learn pretty quickly in the industry, that whether it is DTF, DTG, embroidery, screen printing, it doesn't matter. The actual kit itself, that one-off purchase, that's not where the businesses make money off you. It's on all the consumables. That's absolutely that constant rolling
really is. If you look back. 31. So if you look back to when Currys used to offer desktop printers, and the desktop printer was like 30 quid, that sounds like a good idea. And then you look at the ink that goes in that desktop printer, and that's 60 quid. Hang on, how come the hardware is not as expensive as the consumables that go in the hardware? And it's the same thing that happens today.
Yeah, it is. But we have to do it, and once you're in, you're then in.
Trapped.
In that
Trapped's the
screen
word
in
you're
that
looking for.
yeah in that screen printing. The time we were doing screen printing in house, we also chose to go down the water based route, as you know, which um, just made it that little bit harder as well when you're learning to manual screen print. And then suddenly going, Tony, why is it's drying? Why is it drying? Like in the screen, and it was good fun. I mean, it's actually now, you already know, I already mentioned to you, it's actually something we're now bringing back in house anyway, screen printing. So
You never learn.
you never learn. You don't.
So that
I've
was
always
10 years ago. So
yeah.
10 years later, what's Envision look like now? Because you weren't called Envision then either. So what's
We
Envision
weren't,
look like
no.
now?
So now we're not based in Loughborough anymore. We're based in the centre of Leicester. Um, we've we basically shifted everything to DTF. So it was it's a decision we made. So you remember before, we obviously had the screen printing and embroidery, but we also had DTG at the time. And we made a conscious decision. We weren't actually too happy with some of the results we were getting with DTG, as well as the parts of the process like the pre-treat and things like that. We were finding issues with garments, um, and sort of we deal in like high-end retail stuff, so we need to constantly be perfecting and making sure the quality of what we're putting out is, well, retail standards. So after some going to see some different suppliers and things, we ended up buying a full DTF setup,
Where
which was
from?
an
Who
absolute.
did who did you pick?
So we went to our
I mean,
friend
if you want to say, if you don't want to say, don't say. But if you want to say,
Mr. Potter helped us out. We'd always got all of our kit from him, so we went with his Neo.
the Neo, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good machine.
um,
How many
and
heads?
the two head one.
Okay, yeah.
Is an absolute game changer, to be honest, for us. I mean, out the box it's good, and you can sort of produce that. I don't want to say bedroom standard, a bit better than that, but we've probably spent a good 6 months tweaking, creating our own color profiles, getting every aspect of it, even from like pressing temperatures, what we do after the first press, really nailing these sort of details to try and replicate a screen print finish, which I mean, loads of people have commented and said it's sort of the best ETF they've seen in the
So
UK,
this is
and
this
we've
is
really
my
tried.
dilemma. You said retail and DTF. Now normally I
Mm,
don't put retail and DTF together. I
no.
put sort of like promotional and corporate stuff, but not actually retail. And then I've just been to Pakistan and massive big unit of working out there, all for big major UK fashion, and DTF's a huge part. And
It is.
DTF and print together, but DTF on its own is still a huge part. And
Mm,
so I have to sort of like step back a little bit and go, yeah, actually, the industry is changing, it is evolving, and DTF, like you say, I like the analogy, I like bedroom quality, and I'm going to
mm,
stick with bedroom quality. I quite like the idea of some guy in his back bedroom just knocking out shirts for his mates. I think that is a standard. I like the analogy of it.
mm.
But it's nice to hear that you've taken it to the next level and gone into the retail standard by tweaking. Interesting, you make your own color profiles. That's not a slow job. That's quite a long job.
That's not a slow job at all. Luckily, my business partner Joe is pretty savvy with that sort of stuff, so he sort of took the lead on that. And then I sort of dealt more with getting once we've got the film printed, making sure we can tweak the processes to improve the hand feel and things like that, which obviously that white ink levels has a massive part to play in that, but there's also things you can do on the press to improve things like that. But it's one of them. We're not the cheapest, we don't try and be the cheapest. We're not chasing to the bottom for every penny. So we can afford to get these things right. And if it means we're using more ink or whatever, then that's
It's
what
a
we do.
it's a bold statement in the city that you sat in to say that you're
I
not racing to
know.
the bottom.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I could probably kick a football in all directions and it would hit a few different print shops.
I often say about Leicester, if you throw a stone in Leicester, you hit a screen printer.
It's
Did you know
almost,
there are 180 in Leicester itself? 180 presses in Leicester, and
that's
it's not
crazy.
that big a city.
Well, and how many of them have you been into? Probably most of them.
Yeah, there's a few I'm not allowed into, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have got a good relationship with them all. It's strange because usually Leicester's, I want to use the word incestuous, but in a nice word.
Mm,
Um, a lot of people sort of like see someone get a print machine and they go, "Oh, I'll get one," and then they get one and they
mm,
go, "Oh, I'll get one," and I'll get one, and all of a sudden we've got a lot of people competing for the same customers. But
exactly.
I think Leicester is it's really a victim of its own success now.
Mm,
I think it will slow down. I think it will slim down, but you'll still get a lot of fast fashion. No, I don't like that word. Reactive fashion printing. So test and
yeah,
react.
that's it. I mean, we're quite lucky in the sense that we aren't chasing that customer.
So who's your
Um,
typical customer? Come on, who's your typical customer? Who comes to you for something?
so
For
typical
either.
customers, it's normally a streetwear brand is very common, um, as well as how sportswear and streetwear are now almost one and the same thing. So there's a lot of sportswear brands, and then in recent times, sort of creators from like the YouTube space, which is a big thing, and then also we do bits and bobs in like motor racing, and stuff like that. So they're all people that they sell their product for a higher price point, and they also want the quality. They don't want they don't want a cheap garment. They don't want a cheap finish. We're dealing with everything we do. It's normally always we've got our machinists here, adding like special trims and labels. We're producing like premium swing tags, custom packaging, like everything's like that. So it's a different game to maybe some of the other people around us in Leicester.
Yeah. So you're taking a premium product and then embellishing it even further, basically, or are you actually manufacturing the product now?
So both actually. So we kind of the way the business is tiered, we did it this way. Sort of around COVID, we made the choice to do this.
Mm.
Was we have our in-house manufacturing capabilities. That's obviously using an off-the-shelf blank, and embellishing it and finishing it. That's both in short run and also on demand, because we deal with fulfillment, like 3PL services here. So we do print and embroidery on demand, all here in house. And then the idea was we then start doing bulk, but still on pre-made garments, to help build a customer to a point where they say, right, do you know what? Now I want to look at
Can
producing
I get my own garments? Yeah.
a cut and sew garment, and that's my background is in fashion design, pattern cutting. So that's when I really take over that customer, and we'll design a garment from scratch. We'll develop the fabric, and then most of the time that then comes and sits in our warehouse anyway, because we then fulfill that, for them. So it's
Large numbers? Is that large numbers? Small numbers?
we can do 50 pieces,
Okay.
out of a factory in Portugal, which is really really high end stuff. We've done a lot of stuff this
I've
end.
been to the
That's
factories in Portugal. They surprised me no end
Oh yeah,
how high end they are. Yeah, they really did.
yeah. So for we have clients we're putting stuff in Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, a lot of that stuff we make cut and sew in Portugal. Um, but it's one of them. We've kind of tried to create this system where we can help someone come in with an idea and bring their vision to life, basically, and help them grow to a point where they're, hopefully doing the millions. and we're there for the ride. That's the idea, and to help them in any way.
Yeah. So where's your main contribution then? You said streetwear, and obviously my age, I don't know what streetwear is. What describe what you would call streetwear? Is that like a sportswear brand? What is it?
It's a very broad term, but it's like mid to high end retail. So most of our customers will, for example, a t-shirt will retail from 60 to 80 pounds.
Ah, right.
That's using like a premium heavyweight Pima cotton single jerseys and sort of your 500 GSM French terries for your hoodies and sweats. So, high end finishes in regards to the embroidery we're doing is 3Ds, appliques, all that sort of thing. So some people think that the prices of some fashion is too much. I kind of disagree with. I think lots of people expect everything else in the world, the price to go up. They expect fuel, food, rent. They expect those things to sort of go up on a curve, but they still want to pay £15 for a t-shirt. So
This is an argument I had, well, a discussion I had with someone not long ago. There is a finite price for what we sell, and I think the state of the industry at the minute is very, I don't know, it's transitional, it's scary, it's changing. I see it across all areas, but one area I see growth in is music merchandise. And
massive.
music merchandise, I think, is why why that particular area. And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you say, well, we can sell our t-shirt for 60 quid. And that's the difference. You can put as much work in the artwork, the printing, the packing, the fulfillment for a t-shirt for Primark, and it's got a finite price of 15 quid. There's nothing else you can put on that shirt to make it worth more than 15 quid. But you put a popular band name or even an up-and-coming band name on the same t-shirt, the same quality, printed at the same level, and all of a sudden you're getting 40 and 50 quid. And that's why that sector is growing. It's pure and simple. There is enough financial incentive to produce that kind of work. And I presume
100%.
what you're doing, the streetwear stuff, is very similar. If your branded stuff was selling for like 15 quid, it'd be like, there's a lot of work goes into this to sell it for 15 quid.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, using music as the example, we deal with some management companies and like touring agencies that help do merchandise for their artists. And 10 years ago, they were happy with a Gildan Heavy.
A Gildan, yeah.
Yeah, that's what every band wanted. To them, that was the pinnacle of t-shirt, and it was just
a Gildan black long sleeve t-shirt with a red and white print on the front, and I'm happy.
That's it. Whereas now they don't. They want to come here to our showroom. They want to touch and feel. How heavy is this? Can I try the fit on? What special printing can we do? What special embroidery? They're treating their merchandise like a brand would a seasonal drop. So it's completely changed, completely. And like you said, the music, the numbers is crazy. If you get with the right artist or a festival or something, the numbers are mad. And there's friends of ours here in Leicester that do it very well, and they do it for the biggest names, and they do it very well.
They do, yeah. For me, there are sort of three levels to the music stuff. There's the up and coming bands where they play in a band, but they've also got a real job.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm getting old. There's the middle guys who have given up their jobs and actually using music as a career, but they're not selling out arenas yet. And then there's the Taylor Swifts, the Oasises that are doing in the 200, 300, 400,000 print runs.
Yeah.
And I quite like that all three of those tiers are still healthy from a print point of view. I love it. I think it's great, and especially the way that the industry has broken itself down to, okay, well, we'll print where you are touring.
Mm-hmm.
instead of shipping, well, print me. I think I'll sell 100,000 T-shirts, print them, and we'll put them in 3 trucks and drive them around the world. No.
Yeah,
Find me a printer in Budapest, and we'll print for that gig. Find me a printer in Germany, and we'll print for that gig. I quite like the way that's fragmented. You touched earlier on a customer will come to you and go with how does it touch, how does it feel. So when we come to DTF and screen print, you mentioned early on that you can get DTF to feel like screen print. Is that the goal? Is that a good thing? Is that what we're after? Are we after replicating screen print? Because screen print doesn't feel that great unless it's water-based discharge.
So I think to go back a bit before that is I'm a lover of screen print. For me, there's something about you'll know exactly the first time there was screen printing done, but I think it goes back to even ancient Egyptian times. They started pushing.
Yeah, when I was young in the ancient Egyptian times.
So like it's such a the things have changed, like the materials that are used have changed and the technology, but the same idea of pushing ink through holes that hasn't changed. Yeah. No, that has not changed, and I quite like something about this analog. I don't know how to describe it, but I love it. For me, there's nothing better.
Is it like describing a vinyl record and a streaming service? Is it something
that
like...
Yeah. That's perfect.
It's the same sound. It's the same thing. We're still listening to a music, but one of them you can hear the scratches in the record. You get the feel of it. You know it's a physical thing that exists. And the other one's just a stream. Yeah, it's giving us what we want, but it's taken away all the stuff that actually made it feel real.
Exactly. And I think for me, there's nothing better than a graphic T-shirt that will never change. And it's I love seeing if you're in a vintage shop or something like that, and you see a T-shirt, that's been worn for 40 years. The T-shirt's naturally aged through sun washing. The print's cracked. There's something about it that I don't know.
There is. There is something about it. I absolutely agree with you, but also I'm a born cynic. So I was working in America, and we worked for a guy who just bought a printing press and everything. And we're like, okay, what is it you're trying to do? And he showed us what he's trying to do. And he'd been to a vintage shop, seen an old Rolling Stones T-shirt that sold for like $50. And he's like, I want to print that. I'm like, well, you can't, because that one's aged and old. Yeah, but I'm going to take a grinder on the collar. I'm going to stain it up a little bit. Yeah. And I want to print it badly with no underbase. I'm like, oh God. But you know what? He made a successful business of recreating vintage shirts. Especially as some of the old copyrights disappeared after 25 years. So you could legally, I say legally in inverted brackets, just to come. Yeah. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a thing. People love the old T-shirts.
Yeah, I mean it's very popular now. We've had requests for in cut and sew that we're doing. People are wanting like what we're now calling sun faded. So we're using different washes and bleach processes to essentially recreate sun damage across like shoulders and things like that.
It's bizarre. This is where I feel my age, Carl. I really do. I can remember. Oh, you can't wear that; it's faded. You can't wear those jeans; they've got a hole in them. Oh, you can't put that T-shirt on; it's got a rip in it. And now I've been in factories where they employ a guy to rip every T-shirt with a standard blade.
That's it. Yeah, it's all good fun. It's all good fun. But to answer your original question. For me, that is the aim.
I did warn you there'd be tangents, didn't I? We will go off on tangents. You'll have to keep coming back to them. So yeah, we'll go back to the original question.
For me anyway, the aim is to try and replicate like a water-based soft hand feel screen print. And that's with our DTF, that's what we've achieved.
Because we are terrible, aren't we? We buy with our fingers. We don't buy with our eyes. Because if we did, you would never go into a shop. You'd buy everything online. And I know online shopping's great now and it's big. But you go into any store, walk around any physical brick store, and you will see the people go up to something, and the first thing they do is touch it, and then they'll walk away. And we're such tactile shoppers. We have to touch and feel. And that's I think in the early days of DTF that was a negative because it did feel like a big plastic sticker stuck on the front.
It did.
But now with, like you say, with everybody experimenting with white levels, experimenting with artwork when we're half toning and taking away a lot of that that area. There's a guy on the internet who does exceptional at that, t-shirt dude, and he makes some great art by just removing some things to stop it feeling like a big blocky sticker, which is great.
That's sort of, I'm going back now as well on a tangent. That's also something I love about screen printing is, for me actually, I know you I've spoken a lot on different episodes about what's like the ideal setups for a carousel. For me, 4 colors is, for me, I think that's great because you set a limitation of, you've got 4, make that artwork sing, using them 4, and it, like you said, it's down to good. It's down to good art. It's down to good. Down to good artwork, and that's the we treat our artwork here for DTF almost exactly the same as you do for screen printing. So we'll be doing halftones. I'll be talking to the client about, well, you've given me this artwork, that black doesn't need to be there, or that whatever doesn't need to be there. Use the garment color to your to your advantage and things like that. And that's also what helps replicate that screen print finish.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, some screen print finish should be avoided anyway. Some of the screen prints I see, which are shiny and plasticky anyway, they already feel like it's like they're trying to copy DTF.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I'm with you. Getting the feel right is a really important thing, and I believe that DTF's been around for a long time, but it really hit mainstream about 5 years ago when the price of the machinery came low enough to look like, this is worth an investment. But since then, the inks have changed, the powders have changed, the films have evolved. Different films give you different feels. The pressing techniques we can keep playing. I've seen people press with sandpaper, with cotton, with all sorts of different fabrics and fibers to get that feel. But the actual physical chemistry is evolving because it's what we want. And market forces drive what we want. If we say, okay, I want a film that makes my colours pop but feel soft, trust me, somebody will make you one because they'll charge you more for it. So I like the idea. I like the way it's going. Am I a DTF fan? I'm warming to it as a decoration technique. I'm a decoration specialist, and to say that we can't use DTF because it's cheating would be like cutting off one of your arms. You've got to use all the tools that are available. I was in Pakistan 2 weeks ago, and for a big retailer, for a big franchise copyright band, and they were printing puff print first on the press. They were going all the way through. The puff print was lovely, big white, risen, really tactile print, and in between the letters and in the background was DTF. And that was a fantastic amalgamation of the two products. It worked perfectly well. It didn't look out of place, and it felt fantastic. Now, if that's happening in the massive production houses, how long before that starts to filter through to us? We want some of that. Let's do that. It's great.
Exactly that. I would say, I need to send you a sample, to be fair, of just a white print. It's very difficult now, I think, especially how we've got our DTF. A white print on a black t-shirt now, I think if you put it next to a screen printed one, you'd find it difficult to find a real difference. You would know, definitely most people wouldn't. A lot of people, when they come to us and they don't have, say they come to our showroom for a meeting, the first thing they say when they touch some of the
is it DTF
stuff,
or is it screen print? And they ask you, is this screen print?
Yeah, they go, is this screen printed? If they have to
ask, you've won, haven't you?
Yeah, so it's one of them. It's we love it.
I don't think it's bad. I mean, if we're looking at it from a technical point of view, the clarity of the edge finish
Mm.
on a DTF, which is basically a digital printer printing at 1400 dpi, against me shoving some ink through some holes on a mesh that is, you know, limited to 65 dpi first of all in the art, and then even then I've got to the step of the edge of the stencil I've got to deal with. So that edge finish undoubtedly on a DTF is clearer and cleaner. Is it game changing? Is it going to make me think, oh, that's bad and that's good? No, they are very subtle differences. But if you gave me two prints, the first thing I'd look at is the clarity of the edge, and I'd be looking for the better one, being DTF.
Yeah, exactly. And even with like the specials now, we've been experimenting with doing puff with DTF and like all these things. So it's catching up with screen printing. The one thing I don't think it will ever replace is if you're doing 10,000 pieces, you're not DTFing that. Like,
the phrase that I used is screen printing is mass reproduction.
yes.
Everything else is mass customization.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to mass customize something, so make lots and lots of different things, then you're looking at the digital area. If you want to make many copies of the same thing, nothing beats screen print right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But it's close, and it's close because in a lot of the factories I go, it's not close because DTF is speeding up. It's close because screen print's slowing down. It really is, because, you know, if you want screen print to go fast, you have to throw lots of bodies at it. And so we're accepting a much slower production rate of screen print than say when I first started.
Mm. I mean, I suppose also you can't really make a carousel go faster now. It's the people, right? Like you're saying.
We hit about between 1,000 and 1,200 an hour on a carousel, and that's like a theoretical. It's like the range on your electric car. Yeah, it does exist, but nobody actually achieves it.
No.
It's basically the squishy thing, the soft person that stood there.
Mm.
Can they maintain accurate loading and quality control and feeding of a machine at 1,200 an hour? Well, I can for an hour, but I'm not doing any more than an hour because I'll be
Definitely
broken.
not.
I'll just be a broken mess on the floor. So I'm not doing any more than that.
No, definitely not.
Finding someone to do that for 8 to 10 hours a day, whew, good luck with that,
Yeah.
because that's a
crazy.
hard task.
I suppose I mean, you'll correct me. You'll know what's new in screen print, but I'd probably say the biggest innovation was the mix of digital with the screen. So like the screen printed
Call it
base.
hybrid. Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
hybrid. Yeah, hybrid printing. Only yesterday, a friend of mine sent me a video of a hybrid print that he's been doing, and he's only just bought the machine, and he's bought machines from different places, and he's got this lovely big oval with a digital head on it, and it's churning out work at the same rate as a screen print press, but the tonal values of the smoky flower effect that is printing simply couldn't be achieved. Not would be hard to, couldn't be achieved using traditional screening methods.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's one of them. I think it's all fun and games. I don't know how much further. I don't know what the next thing is in the decoration.
Hybrid's working really well, but there's a drawback to hybrid. So hybrid is basically screen print the base and drop the colours on top.
Yeah.
There's another sort of the tangent of this is full inline DTG, where we digital the white base, but we've always got this hidden elephant in the room of pre-treat. And until we can print the pre-treat, which I think one of them does, one of them might be the Polaris. I'd have to do some research on it. One of them started to put the pre-treat through a print head, digital print head, which means they only put the pre-treat where it's supposed to be. And I think that's the future. Once we can get these chemicals to work correctly, and we can find a pre-treat that pre-treats or prepares a garment to be any garment to be printed, because there's always been a restriction of polyester content or plastic content. everybody can do DTG on a 100% cotton. I think the Cornet Apollo, I've seen that many times. I've used it at Vespa, and on a 100% cotton garment, there isn't a better solution. 350 pieces of an hour of any garment you want, of any design you want, as long as it's going onto a 100% cotton shirt with one operator. That's the t-shirt factory in a box that everybody's asking for. Definitely. But then how many customers only want 1,000 black Gildans?
Yeah, that's it.
Can you just throw me some hoodies in? Yeah. Oh, and a couple of running tops. Oh, yeah, and some vests. And all of a sudden you're like, well, my machine won't do that. Now I need to adapt it. So I think when we nail the prep layer, the preparation layer, that's when we'll see true hybrid. When the thing the primer that goes down first will adhere to polyester, to cotton, to everything. And I think, I'm not sure, there's a company that has already got it, but it's still, $400 grand or something for a machine, which is
it's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
DTG was always good for the quality of the print. Can't beat it at all. Superb. The feel's great. But the limitations to the pre-treat, it depends on the garment. It's a little bit like my discharge analogy. I love discharge because it's the softest, brightest print I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But that's the only positive. All the others negative. Throwing the ink away, the blind printing, the aggressive ink, the smell of formaldehyde and the smell of the sulfur. And all these different things are all negatives. You can't get away from the big positive that it does feel nice and look nice.
The fact you didn't see there was a hole in the screen until 200 t-shirts in.
At the end of the dryer. Like, is this supposed to be here? No.
Yeah.
And you count, there's 50 in the dryer, there's 20 on the machine, and you're like, oh, God, no. Yeah. And then you're trying to find a Sharpie that matches the shirt colour.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No, I think to be fair, that was another massive thing for us shifting to DTF was we could, just by changing a pressing temperature, that was the only change required to just put DTF onto polyester. Which that's massive for us, especially with dealing with that crossover from fashion brands to sportswear, where there's now more polyester, nylon, things like that. Like I said about doing stuff in the motor racing space, where you've got 100 sponsors on different arms, and you're not going to screen print that. You're not going to. It would just be a ball ache. Whereas DTF is an absolute game changer for that sort of thing.
Well, it always used to be done by print and cut, which was the old Roland or Mamaki, printed on a white background and cut out and weeded, and it worked perfectly for those sort of logo sponsorships. Do you still do DTG? Are you doing any direct DTG?
No, we have a machine, but it's got a plastic sheet over it in the corner of the warehouse. It's not used.
So then, did DTF replace DTG rather than replace screen print? The only reason we haven't got rid of our DTG printer is because I think we're just going to get the white on it decommissioned, so it just becomes a CMYK printer. Now it's not. We don't really get asked it a lot, and our customers are really happy with what we're doing with DTF. But there is the odd customer that will say, "I want that seamless finish on a white T-shirt." And that's where DTG, just a CMYK print, that can't be replicated. I suppose the closest thing to that is like a discharge print and screen printing, that sort of seamless feel. So, but we haven't done that yet. It's just there with a sheet over it. So, I would say DTF has replaced DTG in my opinion. Yeah.
If you look at
the limitations, the limitations on DTG. I mean, it's a great process, and the prints are fantastic, no doubt whatsoever. But the limitations on what you can print onto, and the speed that you have to do it, and the extra process involved in dry. There's no extra process in wet DTG, but dry DTG, there's an extra process involved. 2 if you count the drying process. Then I think those limitations, until those are removed, that's always going to be the issue.
We also saw, because we were running 3 DTG printers at one point, and to get a solid white, you had to use a lot of ink on DTG as well. And that's just on a t-shirt. If you're then printing on a hoodie, then
Yeah, I know.
just the print cost got silly.
I tell the story of my first ever venture into DTG, and the owner of the company said, "Okay, take this print, make it look good, because it doesn't look good right now. So do whatever you need to do with the color profiles, the amount of ink that goes through, the pre-treat level, the brands of everything you're using." And I spent a week or so, and I got this absolutely superb print. Honestly, it felt soft. It was bright. It looked superb. There were faded edges. They couldn't see any snot mark around the outside. Perfect. And the boss was super impressed. He's like, "Oh, Tony, that's fantastic. That's great. Go for it. Let's run that. Oh, just before you go, how much did it cost?" What? Well, the machine will tell you how much ink's on there. So give me a cost in ink per shirt. £8.33.
Yeah.
Ink alone. So Tony, we're printing onto a £1.50 Gildan. What do you mean there's £8.50 worth of ink? Well, that's what it costs to make it look. I can do it. I can make it work, but can we make money at it? And that's the reason we're doing it. So
Exactly.
that's one of the issues with DTG that I found anyway.
No, 100%.
I'm not sure where DTG will end up. I think the hybrid works, but again, we'll go back to another Tony story. We were in Long Beach, and the rock machine was running this lovely print, and I know the guy really well who was running it. I said, "Oh, it looks okay. How many screens are you using?" We've got 6. So you've still got 6 screens in, and you've 400 grand CMYK and head in there. Yeah. And he's still only printing about 180 an hour. Yeah. Wow. He said, "Oh, yeah, but if I was running this in my shop, so I'd make some changes." "Oh, would you take some screens out?" "No, I'd put another 2 in. I'd make it an 8-screen job, because the black and the green are a bit dull, so I'd replace those with solid screens." Wow. But if you say you want to reproduce this and you give me 8 screens, I think I can do it without the 400 grand investment of the CMYK head. And so this is where if we keep adding more screens to the hybrid, then it stops being as attractive.
100%.
I sampled, it's a while ago now, and it failed, so I can't really use it as a good example. But there was a little CMYK machine at 50 grand that dropped into a carousel with no hassle. And the guy making the ink had made it so that the white was single screen, double pass. So that's just a double stroke, not flashed in between, printed wet, and it was superb. The only problem is he wouldn't tell me what was in the ink. So I couldn't replicate it or sell it anywhere in Europe where they have strict regulations, in case he'd put ground up baby squirrels in his ink. There was just pretty much nothing I could do. You need to tell me what's in the ink. I can't, it's a secret. It's just nano. Well, nano's the size of the particles. That doesn't make any sense. What have you put in there? Oh, I can't tell you. So I don't know whether it was silicon, whether it was aqua based. I don't know what it was, but it was superbly bright. It was really bright, and it meant that I didn't have to use so many screens.
There you go. Well, that's for you in screen printing anyway. That's always the aim, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, some screen printing inks, they take 3 screens to get a good white. So the company in Florida, their standard for a white flash white is white flash white flash white, and they won't break that compromise. They'll never do 2 screens. It's just not good enough. 3 screens is the standard. I do like Under Armour, and it's 6 screens.
Yeah, that's it. Or they could just do DTF.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which to be fair, I think a lot of it is now looking. If you go into a Nike, an Under Armour, and Adidas, most of the activewear stuff, I'd be surprised if it's not. Actually, to be honest, a lot of it on the rail, you even see the film mark when it was pressed, because it hasn't been washed yet. You can see where the film was before it was peeled.
There is a lot of that. There's a lot of TPU, laser cut TPU, and there's a lot of DTF, and we're dealing with polyester most of the time, which is a difficult process to print on. So we're getting the cost down to a predictable cost. Screen print, as much as we like to think it isn't, is still an unpredictable method of decorating a garment. You could say that, you're going to get 3,000 a day off it. What, every day? Even on a shitty day where everything falls apart and you're on the death spiral of every screen you touch puts a hole in it, then no. Whereas DTF is much more predictable, I must say. I think it is.
No, I
and
agree.
it's definitely becoming more mainstream. Definitely moving into the retail area. And
100%.
the more we get better at it, and the more we don't make these plasticky stick-on stickers, then the better we get. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's definitely going that way. I think the industry is I still call it like a Netflix and Blockbuster moment what we're in at the minute. We're all going to look back and go, do you remember when you used to do this manually?
Yeah.
Myself. Remember when we bought that
it.
Vastex unit and got Tony in and it were an absolute disaster?
Yeah. It was good. It was good fun. I ruined so many pairs of jeans though. God.
Well, now they're coming back into fashion. That somebody somewhere will be selling ink splattered jeans. And my mum will be proved right when she finally gets to say, see, I told you they'd be worth something someday.
Yeah, that's it.
There'll be some fashion street brand out there somewhere that's selling ink splattered jeans. And then that'll be us, sat at the side of it, just splattering ink onto a pair of brand new jeans just to get 200 quid for them.
There is, I mean, I'm not going to mention the brand. People probably work it out, but I used to work for them. That's why I moved from the South Coast to Leicestershire, was to work for these guys, and they made millions of pounds doing ink splattered backpacks, which was somebody in a unit here in Leicester with plaster sol ink just splatting backpacks.
Yeah.
So
only a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine showed me a video of that. It's exactly what he was doing, but with discharge ink, and he was doing it on the shirt first, and then drying the whole process, activating the discharge, and then putting the screen print on top.
Oh, that's really cool.
Basically, ink splattered T-shirts to start with as a background. And I was like, is there some fancy machine and automated? No, it's just me flicking discharge onto a shirt.
Yeah, that's it. It's just Dave in the corner. Dave in the corner looks like a murder scene with plastic sheets up on the wall, and that's exactly
it. I see that sign. I see that a lot in print shops I go, but probably not for different reasons. But
yeah.
So whereabouts on the south coast were you then? Because that's not a Leicestershire accent, is it?
It is not. No, I'm from West Sussex. So
West Sussex sounds posh.
Yeah, I grew up. You'll know. Have you been to Festival of Speed, Goodwood? Yeah. So I grew up like 20 minutes from Goodwood, where I grew up.
Hence the interest in motor racing.
Well, yeah, that's a bit of a nostalgia thing. Watching the Grand Prix on the weekend with my dad, sat in front of a telly. I think that's when it definitely started. And then I remember going to Brands Hatch to watch like touring cars. And my dad had like a pit access.
Wow.
And I remember that just blowing my mind. That's back when you had pretty girls in tight shorts as well, walking around the pits. So it's a bit different now.
Pit girls, yeah.
Yeah, but it was, I love it. Absolutely love it. So it is cool. It's cool now to be printing some of that stuff. Especially, recently we did a job for, I say recently, probably 6 months ago, for a Formula E team, and I hadn't watched any Formula E until then, but it's good.
I tried to get into it because I think we're in about Series 6 or 7 or something now, aren't we? But I got into it at the very beginning. Thought, this is going to be great. It's going to be a good replacement. I'm okay with this. This is going to be good. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it is. The Mario Kart fan boost thing got me.
Yeah.
I think they had 2 cars because the batteries wouldn't last the whole race. So they got out and swapped cars halfway through the first series. At least they've got the charging sorted now. It's fast, it's racing, but that noise just sounds like a trip to the dentist. And I can't get away from that. I'd have to watch it with some other noise dubbed over the top of a V10 or something roaring.
Yeah, I would definitely sign a petition to bring back the V10s.
Absolutely. I think everybody would, yeah. But out of our control, mate. Out of our control. We're just the people that
Completely.
pay the money. We're just people that pay the money at the end of the day. What do we know?
That's it. What do we know?
WWF1.
Yeah.
We won't even go down that road. So what's next for Envision then? What's in the future? Where are we going with it?
I say next is just keep growing, keep expanding. We've got some new sort of sides to the business that we're going to be launching quite soon that are in more of that sportswear, I'm going to say teamwear side of things, which is going to be really exciting. I think we're going to see some growth there for us. But yeah, it's keep expanding really. Just keep investing in processes, people, and yeah.
More in-house? Are you going to keep subbing it out? Or are you going to bring back manufacturing in-house?
That's kind of like on my, quite high up on my list, is to have, like, we have machinists here that just in-house that just deal with labeling and stuff, but I would love to be making cut and sew here on my production floor. That would be great.
Is it viable, Carl? You know, like I say, I travel all over, and I go to places where the cost of labour is around about $400 to $500 a month. And you get a guy for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for that. And a skilled guy or a skilled girl doing all sorts of manufacturing and production work.
100%.
And then, you know, I go to the top end of North America, and that same semi-skilled worker is 30 quid an hour. And it's the same product. We're producing the same product. So
Yeah.
I'd love to think that England or Europe even can go back to production, but I think it's too late. We pay too much money. The cost of employment in this country is just too high.
It is, yeah.
Portugal. I went to Portugal, and I'm like, how the hell are you doing this? And it's like, oh, well, we don't stick to the European minimum wage. We pay a fair wage, and that's it.
That's it.
Oh,
I think that's.
To do that?
I mean, that's something that would make it viable. It's because of the space we're in and who we manufacture for, that they're prepared to pay that price for made in England. They can come down whenever they want and check on production. That's what will allow us to do it, is definitely the premium and the high end retail space that we operate in. 100%. If it was for cheap Primark, whatever, which I'm not interested in that whatsoever, it definitely wouldn't work. But for the space we operate in, it's definitely viable.
Good. I like to see it. I like to see us getting a good price for the thing. You know, there's a lot of work goes into making a t-shirt.
Yeah, there is.
I think it's and I hate the word disposable fashion, and I like the idea of buying a garment and keeping it for a long time because it's quality.
That's it.
Then long it should live. And I love the Made in Britain thing. I think it's great. I work for a company who specifically wanted to manufacture the shirt in England, in Sheffield. And I'm like, that's going to cost you, about £8 to manufacture a shirt, and I can go get you one from Turkey, which is probably better quality for £3. So why would you want to make it here? And because I want to put the Union Jack on it. I want it to say made in England. I want to be proud of the fact. Like, what, even if it makes you bankrupt?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, even if it makes me bankrupt. No, people will pay more for it. And I think there is there's still a little bit of quality attached to the UK flag. If we look around the world, and if you look at the back and it says made in Bangladesh, you have an opinion. If it says made in China, you have an opinion. If it says it's made in all these different places, you're like, yeah, okay, that's why it's cheap. But if you know it says made in England, you're like, okay, that's probably a higher that. So it does have a value, and
definitely.
I commend you for doing it. I think it's a great idea, and I think more people should.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap that up, Carl. I think we've had a fantastic sort of little chat.
Definitely.
We've not really put the world to rights, but we've certainly drawn some lines between different decoration techniques. So are you a printer or are you a garment decorator?
I'd have to say garment decorator. I'd have to say that
Fantastic.
but yeah, I'd have to say that.
Because you embroider, you
Yep.
transfer, you sticker,
Hmm.
you embellish, you put rhinestones on stuff, and all this is garment decoration. And I think
Exactly.
it's right and it's good that it all falls under one umbrella. We are garment decorators and we're not just screen printers. Screen printing is a big factory where cheap labour is bashing out 24/7. That's screen printing.
Yep.
We are
Hmm.
garment decorators, garment embellishers, and it's
Exactly.
good to see. It's good to see. Okay, well, thank you very much, Carl. It's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
You were the guinea pig. You were the first one, and be
There you go.
prepared that in about half an hour's time, I ring you up and say we've got to do it all again because I didn't press the big
Yeah.
red button at the top. And Danny will be sat in the background going, "See, I told you, I told you."
That's it.
So
Well, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
no worries. Well, like I say, you're the first one, so hopefully we'll get many, many more. And for now, all that's to be said is, I'll see thee.
Civvy.
Right, we've got to press stop now.
Not the trash can button. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to lose my vanity and put my glasses on. Okay, stop. It's